Hey guys, really quick, I'm gonna go ahead and answer a question that I got that I think a lot of people want to need the answer to this question. Um, and it is, how do I love myself? Because I do all this talk about self love, but then it's like, well, what does that really mean? Well, self love is about thinking about you first of all, okay? Um, Sometimes we're so far from self love that we don't even think about ourselves. We don't think about how we feel. We don't think about what we need. We don't honor ourselves. We don't pay attention to ourselves. We ignore ourselves. So the very first thing is to make sure that you're not ignoring yourself, that you're paying attention to yourself. The needs that you have, are you trying to fulfill those needs for yourself like you love yourself? Like you would do to somebody else in a relationship. A lot of times we think about what somebody else needs. We try to fulfill their needs, but are you doing that for yourself? That's an act of self-love. Um, Another one is honoring yourself. You don't need permission to honor yourself. That can mean expressing your love, the love in your heart, how you feel, expressing dissatisfaction. Um, Authentic self expression is self loving. Um, if you're doing it for that reason, okay? Not if you're hoping for some type of response or expectation out of it, then it's not pure. Are you doing it simply because you're honoring yourself and this is what you want to do? If that is the case, that's self loving. So you just have to ask yourself, if it doesn't change anything or nothing happens, do I still want to do this? If it doesn't benefit me in any way, or there's no outward benefit to it, do I still want to do it? If the answer is yes, it's self-loving. You should proceed. Um, so it's taking care of yourself in whatever ways you can think of. I do it sometimes where I may be at a restaurant, and normally I order some other type of drink, and I'll just, in that moment, I'm like, you know what? No, even though I'm at a restaurant, I didn't drink enough water at the office today. I'm going to get water because that's good for me and I love myself. Um, Self love can be ordering the salad. Self love can be picking up that apple versus that bag of chips. It's little things you can do throughout the day. But when you consciously are doing it, it is having a major impact on you. It is having more of an impact than you're probably able to notice immediately. But the way you feel and how you deal in relationships and with other people is going to change from this. Um, so, there's a lot of ways you can love yourself. It's based on your lifestyle, your preferences. It's based on you because self love is all about you. Um, there was something else that I was thinking about as I was driving in this morning that I wanted to mention. Dang, what was it about the self love thing? And I lost it. I was driving, I couldn't write it down. Um, Damn. Yeah, but the self love. And that's the thing we need to understand with the twin flame union. In order to come into that union with another person, we need that union within ourselves. Because if we don't have it, we won't have the standard for that person to either come higher or walk away if they're not going to give it to us. If they're not going to not give it to us, but if they're not going to meet us. You know, um, so the self love is really important. But yeah, that's the ways that you can do it. I mean, there's just so many ways that you can do it. But it's really thinking about and considering yourself, making yourself a part of your life. You'd be amazed at how many people themselves is not really a part of their life. They don't get up and think about what would bring me joy. Start following your joy. What would bring me joy? What would make me happy? What do I want? What do I really want? And how can I fulfill that for myself? What am I missing? How do I feel? If I'm lonely, I want to address my loneliness. I want to think about the fact that I'm lonely and why do I feel alone? Because loneliness, you can't actually feel lonely when you're in union with yourself. There's no such thing as feeling lonely. It's like impossible. You can't feel lonely. Lonely is the longing for another. And you never long for another when you're full of that self love within yourself. You can feel content alone. You won't need it. And you'll have other passions anyway. Like, you're never going to be in union with yourself and your life has no passion. Like, you always have something that you're passionate about. You always have something that interests you. You can always entertain yourself, enjoy yourself. Like, there's always some type of excitement with you, whether you're with somebody, whether you have somebody or not, whether there's somebody else to talk to or not. Like, you just have that within yourself. You'll feel like nothing's missing. And then it's at that point that you've made room, and somebody else is able to, come into your life, and you're able to bring about um, a harmonious um, union with somebody else. So that's how you begin, with thinking about you. Don't wake up and make your life all about everything outside of you. Oh, this is another one. This is a really, really big one. This one was so nourishing to me. I hope that you guys find it equally nourishing and enriching, because it really gave me so much insight. Is when I took this step within myself and I said, you know what, I love myself. So I'm going to choose, sometimes I am going to choose what I need over what I want. And that was the thought process for me. And it's like, and so I did that. I could do that even with friendships, relationships. I could be like, you know what, this feels good. I want it. But when I look at what this person is bringing into my life, they may be bringing negativity. I may find that they make me feel a certain way. You know what I mean? Like, they don't make me feel, they're not responsible for making me feel anything. I know that. But what I mean is, if somebody has a really negative energy, or they're just not a good positive impact on my life, like, I'm noticing that their energy in my life is having a negative impact, and I may actually enjoy this person. Like, I may have some sense of excitement with them, but then it was like, but I don't need this. Like, I'm going to make a decision that this is something I don't need, because I love myself. So I started, making that distinction with a lot of different things. Like, no, I really want that, but I love myself so much that I'm going to give myself what I need. So that's a good way to do it too. So have fun with it. Explore new ways of getting into you, date you, get to know you, and it's so exciting. Like, when you start that journey. And people are so reluctant to do it, but you have no idea how great your own company is. You have no idea how much you can love you. And see, that's the beauty that unfolds in self love, is because your ability to see the beauty in you, and so many reasons to love yourself, so many things to love about yourself. It's hard for other people not to see it too. You know, it's hard for other people not to see it too, because you really see it, and you're embodying that in your life. um yeah, so it's a journey, and it's very exciting. You guys will really find that it's actually more pleasurable than you thought. People kind of cringe their noses up, because unfortunately we live in a world that teaches everybody to hate themselves, to look outside of themselves. It teaches you everything that you're not, and you never discover everything that you are. And that's the beauty of self-love. You will discover everything that you are. Another major thing you have to do on the journey, if you're going on the journey of self-love, which will bring you to a harmonious union with another, a true love with another, because you have that love so abundantly within yourself, is learning to accept yourself. See, the same way you would accept your twin flame, you don't accept yourself that way. You judge yourself. You don't have that self compassion. You're not compassionate towards yourself. So that's another way you love yourself. When you think of your flaws and the things that are wrong with you, which there never really is, you're valid. You have a reason for every part of you, and every way that you are, you have a life that has, you have a reason for being. Okay. Um, but when you don't accept yourself and you reject parts of yourself, sometimes people don't realize how mean they are to themselves. You would never treat another person the way you treat yourself. When you make a mistake and you're like, you're a fucking idiot. You wouldn't do that to somebody else. When somebody else makes a mistake, it's like, oh, it's just, you just made a mistake. It's okay. But then when it's you, it's not just a mistake and it's okay. See, there's no self compassion. That's a lack of self love. um, there's no full acceptance of yourself. So you need to accept everything about you, even the things that you didn't like. You know, that's a huge part of self love. Like, really, you can't really love yourself if you don't accept yourself. Like, how do we love anything that we reject? How do we love any? You know what I mean? Just think about it. If you were to say that you love somebody else and you treated them how you treated yourself, like you judged them, like, oh, you fucking idiot, every time they make a mistake, you never forgive them for their mistakes. Oh my goodness, you keep them under a constant regret of every wrong thing they ever did. Um, you criticize them, you ignore them, you know what I mean? If you did that to somebody else, could you really say you love them? So don't do it to you. Love yourself the way you want to be loved. And that is how you open the door to bring about union in your life, for somebody else to come in and love you like you want to be loved, because you're already loving yourself like you want to be loved. So if you want compassion, you want somebody to love you tenderly, you want them to be compassionate, understanding, kind, start being those things to yourself. Start being understanding of yourself, of your frustrations. Like when you get frustrated, when you're overwhelmed, when you're wherever you are, when you have those moments, like you're overwhelmed, you can't handle it. Are you understanding of yourself? Do you look at yourself and you say, you know what, you're under a lot of stress. You've been through a lot lately. Are you understanding with yourself like that? Do you give yourself that compassion? Love yourself how you want to be loved. Because, see, you're not even ready for another person to love you like you want to be loved until you first have done it. See, when you're empty like that, you actually will be toxic to the very twin flame that you want so much. And you don't realize it yet. This is why people abuse love, because they haven't given themselves that love. So when someone else gives it to them, they don't have that substance within themselves. So it either boosts their ego, and they will be unfair and unkind based on that, or they'll completely take it for granted because they're not giving that to themselves. They can't feel that. They're not in that experience. And see, what you really want when you talk about a twin flame, it's not going to be the person that you have loved yourself and you have filled yourself up and you have having this experience within yourself of this abundance and this gentleness, this happiness, this peace within yourself. And then this other person who is treating you, you don't treat yourself like that. It's not going to be acceptable. And it's not even going to be that you're judging them. It's just that you can't tolerate that. That's not how you're being to you. So it's going to feel, see, we're okay with people treating us how we treat us. When we get to where we're treating ourselves really well and we're really loving ourselves, it's very hard to allow somebody else to do that. You just can't. And you can love them. But it's like, I'm not used to that feeling. I'm not used to anybody being really harsh with me or being unkind or being, because I'm so loving to myself and I'm so kind to me. um I'm used to a feeling of kindness and understanding and compassion towards myself because I do that to myself all the time. So when you do that to me, it's very harsh. It feels very rough. It feels very, very, I can't take it. I don't want that. I won't want it. And even though I love you unconditionally, and I understand that you yourself are not having that experience within yourself. You're very harsh with yourself. You're very rough with yourself. So then you can be rough with me easily because you're already in that vibration. That's how you're treating yourself. And you're only treating me how you're treating. I'm not mad at you. See, that's what you have to understand. People are only treating you how they treat themselves. And we can only treat others the way that we treat ourselves. It is impossible for us to truly be kind when we're unkind to us. Even our kindness is manipulative. And how unkind is manipulation? We're kind to get something. See, until it's real, it's not real. It's got to be real in here in order for it to be real out there and be experienced in an authentic way with somebody else. Okay. So that's what I want people to understand. I'm not throwing out with the video that I did on the love and lust. I'm not throwing out the whole twin flame thing. It's just there's deeper understanding about it. And I'm going to do a whole video on that too. But it's really a deeper understanding. The way people tell you that it's going to happen, the whole romanticized version of it, there's certain aspects of it that are not they're not beneficial. And this is the reason that you have some people that have say they've been on the twin flame journey for 25 years with the same person. I don't see how that could be possible because with the love that is available and the union that is available, once you have that within yourself, I can't see it taking 20 years. Sometimes I think people are just stuck where this person, because you have to understand this, every person has free will. Everybody has to choose. Okay. Um, and twin flame unions are between two self-loving people. If the other person is not choosing to be self-loving, because it's impossible to have that kind of harmonious connection, that depth of love and intimacy with another person that does not love themselves, or if you don't love yourself, you're not capable of that. There's always going to be expectation. There's always going to be some type of ulterior motive. There's always going to be something behind everything. There's going to be a lot of ego battle. It's just not going to happen. Okay. So I'm not going to get all into that in this video because I'm going to do another one on that. But I wanted to just go ahead and throw that out there and, share my thoughts with you guys on that. And I can tell you this too, like this is the difference with my twin flame readings. If you do twin flame readings with me, yes, I'm going to read the energies like I do in the twin flame readings because this is part of the journey. The way these things are playing out, they have to play out this way. So there's no reason not to look at it or not to talk about it. I'll do that. But then, um, I will, if the time is permitting and the energies, sometimes the energies are really intense and there's just a lot of activity going on and we're just not really able to get into blockages. But I can do some of your twin flame blockages in your reading and look at what is blocking you at that time. Another thing to bear in mind, I also do what is called a full blockage reading, where I will go through and look at the blockages in your soul. I will look at every area of your life that has a blockage, whether it is your finances, why is your money not flowing? And I can tell you on a deep root level, the things that are going on in the subconscious mind, what is going on in your soul on a really deep level, that's the reason for this blockage, and then what needs to alter in order to remove it. I can do that based on, if you have a blockage in your love life that's coming up, why can you not have that harmony? Why don't you have peace? All that kind of stuff I can do in a full blockage reading. Okay. So it's definitely something to consider and that's a part of self-love. I want to say that too. And it's not even just about me. I'm not one of those. That's the reason I'm not a money person where I'm going to say things that aren't true or not help you because it's gonna keep you needing me. And so I don't do things like that. I'm gonna tell you the truth. But I will say this, even if you don't come to me, okay, getting help that you need is a self-loving act. That is self-love too. If you really are struggling and you're blocked, Make yourself worth doing a blockage reading. If you really, because what you can gain from that understanding of yourself on that deeper level, how can you say you're not worth it? How can you say you're not worth what you need? Love yourself, because you'll spend it on something that you want, but you don't need. You see? So it's things like that to think about, okay? And I'm not telling you that it has to be me. It could be something else that you need that's going to be beneficial, that somebody else may offer that's spiritually beneficial, that you've been thinking about or feeling like you should do and you haven't done it. Love yourself enough to take those steps for you, because you are worth it. You are worth investing in. You are worth spending money on. How you feel and your understanding and where you are in your consciousness, your ability to grow, your ability to move forward within yourself. You are worth the money you spend on that. Know that, okay? So thank you guys so much. I love you guys. So much love, light, hugs, and kisses to all of you. And I hope that you're having a fabulous day. Okay? Bye, guys.